Christians have long been skeptical of the mainstream media, and for good reason. The motivations behind the stories and news presented by these outlets are often questionable and can be downright contradictory to Christian values. One of the primary concerns is the blatant bias that permeates many major news organizations. It is no secret that many of these outlets lean heavily to the left, and as such, they often present stories and issues in a way that is unfavorable to Christians and their beliefs. This bias can manifest in a variety of ways, from the selection of stories that are covered, to the language and tone used to report on those stories. For example, when a controversy arises involving a Christian individual or organization, the mainstream media is often quick to pounce, using sensational and inflammatory language to describe the situation. On the other hand, when a similar controversy involves a non-Christian individual or group, the media often takes a more muted and sympathetic tone. Another motivation that should give Christians pause is the mainstream media's obsession with ratings and clicks. In order to stay competitive and attract large audiences, news organizations often focus on stories that are provocative and attention-grabbing, rather than those that are truly newsworthy. This can lead to a proliferation of fake news and misinformation, as outlets are more concerned with being the first to break a story than with ensuring that the story is accurate and trustworthy. Furthermore, the mainstream media's rejection of traditional Christian values is a significant motivation that should cause Christians to be wary. Many news organizations have made it clear that they do not share the same moral framework as Christians, and as such, they often present stories and issues in a way that is directly opposed to Christian teachings. For example, the media's promotion of abortion, LGBTQ+ rights, and other socially liberal causes is often at odds with Christian doctrine. This can make it difficult for Christians to trust the motivations of the mainstream media, as they may feel that their values and beliefs are being intentionally undermined. Additionally, the influence of powerful special interest groups and advertisers on the mainstream media is a significant concern for Christians. Many news organizations rely heavily on advertising revenue to stay afloat, and as such, they may be reluctant to report on stories or issues that could offend their advertisers. This can lead to a lack of transparency and accountability, as outlets may be more concerned with protecting their financial interests than with reporting the truth. The mainstream media's coverage of Christian persecution is another area where their motivations are questionable. Despite the fact that Christians are the most persecuted religious group in the world, the media often gives scant attention to these stories. When they do report on Christian persecution, it is often in a way that downplays the severity of the situation or implies that the Christians are somehow to blame. This lack of attention and sensitivity to the plight of persecuted Christians is a clear indication that the mainstream media is not motivated by a desire to tell the truth, but rather by a desire to promote a particular ideology or agenda. In conclusion, Christians have every reason to be skeptical of the mainstream media's motivations. From their blatant bias and rejection of traditional Christian values to their obsession with ratings and clicks, and their lack of transparency and accountability, it is clear that the mainstream media is not a trustworthy source of information. As Christians, it is essential that we are discerning and critical in our consumption of media, seeking out alternative sources of news and information that share our values and are committed to telling the truth. By doing so, we can avoid being misled by the mainstream media's questionable motivations and instead stay informed and up to date on the issues that matter most to us.